Here's a sobering reality check. 97% of your website visitors, they leave your site without taking any action. They land on your home pages, they click around for 20, 30 seconds, something like that, and then poof, they're gone forever. But what if instead of a visitor bouncing after half a minute, they stayed for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, diving deeper into your content and falling in love with your company along the way? That's exactly what happens when you master something I call diggable content. Strategic website content that pulls people in and keeps them exploring your website. When visitors spend more time on your site, two things are going to happen. First, they're going to become pre-sold on your company, and two, Google is going to reward you with higher rankings. The contractors who understand this are the dominating marketers, while their competitors are wondering why their phones aren't ringing. Today, I'm going to show you 5 proven strategies to transform your website into a lead generating machine. If you're ready to turn your website into a magnet that refuses to let customers go, this is for you. My name is Rich Harshaw. I'm the founder and CEO of Level 10 Contractor. We're a marketing agency that helps remodeling contractors generate 200 to 500 quotable leads monthly. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I authored a book called Unlocking Unlimited Lead Flow, and I've helped hundreds of contractors escape the feast or famine lead flow that you might be used to, and not in a good way. So let's get into it today. All right, here we go. 5 ways to make your website content more diggable. First of all, let's define what diggable content is. What I'm talking about here is making your content easy for people to see on your website and then click on to get deeper into your website, digging into your content. Okay, the goal is to have people dig through your website enough so that they can find more and more information, again, fall in love with you, and this is going to increase dwell time. It's going to increase the number of pages that people visit, and these are really, really strong signals to Google that your website is interesting and relevant to, actual people that are finding stuff that they like, and Google is going to reward you by pushing you up in the rankings. So that's what diggable means. Now, another note on diggable, what we really want this to be is heavily based on your identity, okay? It's important that your content be dig worthy, which means that you can't just have any old crappy content that's on there because you wanted to check the box and say, oh, look, we're trying to have content. We're trying to have diggable content. You've got to have good identity-based content that people actually want to read. Otherwise, this whole plan backfires and it doesn't really work. So identity-based blog posts are going to be the key to this whole process. So let's start with this. Number 1 out of 5 ways to make your website content more diggable is to create a Why Us section with links. Okay. Now, this is something that we're leaning into really heavily right now at Level 10 Contractor. We've got a very definitive methodology, and I want to show you what it looks like. We've created a 5x5 matrix of identity points. Now, what does that mean? There's 5 different pillars of identity. This is something that you might already be familiar with. If not, I'll slap it up on the screen. Go ahead, editors, put it up on the screen. These are products, workmanship, bedside manner, core values, and then your culture and community. Those are the 5 pillars. And what we want to do with these 5 pillars is identify within each of those multiple subpoints. Let's call it 5. Then we'll have a 5x5 matrix. 5 pillars, 5 points that are going to be the root and foundation of your identity. Okay? 5 pillars, 5 identity points within each of those. Now, you're not just limited to 5, and you don't necessarily have to have 5. In fact, a lot of times 2 or 3 in a given category or pillar is enough, but for our purposes, we're going to go with a 5x5 matrix. Okay, these 5 identity points within each of the 5 pillars need to be prioritized. So here's what we don't want. We don't want 25 identity points, all of them having equal airtime, equal amount of representation and prioritization. Some of these are going to be more important than others. So if, for instance, on bedside manner, you choose punctual communication, accurate quotes, let's say you choose no sales pressure and no pricing games, just hypothetically, just randomly picking 5 off the list that I'm looking at here. It doesn't mean that all 5 of those are equally as important to you and your company and your customers. So you'd look at those 5, punctual communication, accurate quotes, no sales pressure, no pricing games. I think it's only 4. Anyway, prioritize them, and maybe no sales pressure is the most important. It's number 1. Accurate quotes, number 2, et cetera, et cetera. Got it? Okay. And then what we do is create blog posts for those identity points on a pro rata basis. So for the most important ones, we would create more and more. So let me give you an idea what this looks like. Okay, this is what we do at Level 10 Contractor for our clients that are on our SEO program. First of all, we're going to create about 10 identity blogs as we build your website and start your SEO project. This gives us a blog post that we can link to, at least one, if not a couple, okay, that we can link to as we're building other SEO pages like service area pages and geo keyword blogs. Okay, when we create those in the future, we need to be able to link them to something. And if we don't have the core content to link them to, It's hard to link, okay? So we're gonna then continue to create new identity-based blog posts, usually about one per month, depending on what level of SEO you're on. So that's about, let's say, 10 per year, because we only write content for 10 months. We do what we call a 6-12 optimization in the other 2 months, okay? Then we've also got the 10 that we started with, like I said a minute ago. That gives you about 20 identity-based blog posts after the first year, okay? 10 to start with, 10 that we write throughout the first year. After 5 years, you're gonna have like 50 or 60 of those suckers. To be clear, we're creating these identity-based blog posts in addition to the other pages that we're creating as part of our clients' SEO programs. Again, those are gonna be service area pages and geo keyword blogs. Google and AI search, ChatGPT, whatever the case is, these are going to love your website because people are going to love your website. There's a big correlation. When people love your website, then Google and the search engines are going to love your website. But here's what we're talking about today. We're talking about a why us section. So here's what we want to do. For each of those 5 pillars of identity that we just talked about, okay, we're going to create a why us page in the why us section. So you're going to have a why us section with 5 subpages. We'll create a page for each of those 5 under the why us section, and then we'll put a brief description about what, for example, workmanship means. We'll do the same for all 5 of the pillars. We'll create a little header underneath the header. It'll have a little description of what the core value is, etc. Okay. So for instance, no sales pressure. Under the bedside manner, we'll say something like, we want to make sure that our customers are comfortable. We never want to make them feel like we're twisting their arm. We're going to give you a quote with an honest price and then step back and let you decide. That's just how we operate. Okay. So that's what we'd say. Then underneath that, we'll create little links. And as we go and as we build and write these identity-based blog posts, then we'll create links under each of those sections for the appropriate identity point that the blog goes with that we've created. Okay. Does that make sense? Kind of felt like a mouthful, but hopefully you're following me here. So here's what's going to happen. Let me just kind of reset this and set the stage for you on this. Okay. So there's going to be a section on your website that says why us. Okay. Up here at the top, right? If somebody mouses over that and clicks on it, it's going to bring down a little drop down that shows the 5 pillars of identity. If they click on one of those pages, workmanship, for example, they'll go to the workmanship page and then they'll see that there's 5 identity points listed. Okay. Now here's what we're not going to say. We're not going to say, hey, look, here's identity points, but they're going to be listed 5 identity points. And then underneath each of those identity points, we'll create links as we create these blog posts over time. Okay. So this section, this why us section over time is going to become extraordinarily robust in a very easy way for people to come and see exactly what all of those things are that you do. Okay. So think about this. If you're on the why us page for workmanship and you're going to see that after a few years that there's going to be 5 or 10 different blog posts with the headlines written to linking to those blog posts on this page, it's going to massively increase the diggability of your website because we're going to be putting all of these fantastic blog posts, the links right there in this really, really important section, and we're going to have all these links, okay? Now, and then we're going to make sure that people see it. This is going to be amazing. Okay, now, before I move on, let me just make a quick little point. When we put these onto our client websites, we're not using words like workmanship, bedside manner, core values. Well, a little bit, but let me be specific. We're going to call these sections something else, okay? Like outstanding products instead of products, expert workmanship, superior service instead of bedside manner. That's sort of an internal word that we use here at Level 10 Contractor. Core values, and then we might say culture and community. So again, the 5 things that will actually show up in the YS section: outstanding products, expert workmanship, superior service, core values, culture and community. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Did you get that? And then if anybody clicks on one of those, for instance, expert workmanship, then they'll see listed the 5 identity points that are relevant and make sense for your particular company that we talked about earlier in the 5x5 matrix. Got it? Okay. Again, this could be things like workmanship, no cutting corners, done right the first time, experience, expertise. Those could be, we could put no subcontractors, installation standards, training, whatever it is. Just go back to the list and you'll see it. And then, like I said, we're going to create these blog posts over time. And if you're working with Level 10 Contractor on this will automatically be implemented with your website, whether it's new or if we have to retrofit this into some older sites, we can do that too. But for those of you who are not using Level 10 Contractor, boom, that's how you do it because that's how we do it. All right, let's move on to number 2. I've been talking about the YS section for a long time. We're talking about 5 ways to make your website content more diggable. Number 2, that's to utilize a blog widget. Now, what I'm talking about when I say widget is a little piece of code that creates a little doohickey widget on the side of your website that lets people see what your content is, okay? The widget we use for clients has 3 tabs across the top that say popular posts, recent posts, and case study. And then underneath each of those, depending on which one you pick as a user, then you're going to see blog post headlines that are pieces of diggable content. We're putting this right there in people's faces so they can't miss it. That's what the widget is for, highlighting showing identity-based posts. We're not showing any product-based posts, any geo-keyword-based posts on that widget. Those posts can be found on the respective product pages, and then also some of them under the 5x5 matrix under outstanding products. But for posts on the widget, what we want people to fall in love with your company, not just your products. Workmanship, bedside manner, core values, culture and community, those are the blog posts that will make people fall in love with your company compared to, well, the competition. I mean, let's face it, there's really no such thing as an exclusive product. Not really. And before you hyperventilate and say, oh, you don't understand, we have this one window that nobody else has. Probably that's true, but I'm just guessing because I understand that the way that this industry works, if there's a really good window that's truly superior, probably somebody else has endeavored to create one that's pretty much the same darn thing. And if you don't agree with me, and if you don't like that, okay, that's fine. I understand you've got your window and it's exclusive, and that's great. Run with it. For the rest of you who are listening to me on more of a common sense level, there's really no such thing as an exclusive product. That doesn't mean that we don't want to talk about our outstanding products. We just don't want to pimp them out, and we don't want to talk about how fantastic they are right down to the detail most of the time. What we do want to do is focus on our diggable content on identity. We want it to lean on those other four areas, okay? So then what happens is when somebody comes to any page on your website besides the homepage, they're going to see this little widget, and it's going to punch them in their ever-living face and say, hey, look, here's some stuff that you might be interested in that is going to give you a better idea of who we are, how we're different, why we're better, and what you can expect when you do business with us. That's identity. Imagine if you were shopping for a new entry door and you find one of our clients' websites. You don't know squat about doors, probably, so you're not sure what it takes or what makes one better than the next. You can't tell one door company from another because they're all kind of the same. So you're clicking around, but how can you choose? But then a little widget pops up serving snack after tasty snack, proving exactly why you're the only correct choice. Other companies might have similar pages on their sites, but if they aren't showcased in the widget like I'm talking about now, chances are they'll be missed. Diggability is the goal today, and sometimes that starts by showing customers the X that marks where the gold is buried. Think of the widget as that big red X on a map, so utilize a blog widget. This is something that we've put a tremendous amount of effort into over here at Level 10 Contractor. It's standard with all of the websites that we build, and it's actually just freaking really cool, okay? So this is probably one of the best ways to really put some diggable content into your website because it punches people in the face on every single page with those headlines. Do you have anything like that on your website? Be brutally honest. If a widget popped up on your website right now showing your most recent posts, okay, would it make the customer think, wow, I really want these people to do business with me. I really wish that I could buy from them. Or would it just be a bunch of product specs? Share in the comments the blog pages that you're most proud of. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is embedding headlines into your blog posts. Now, I want you to think about how news websites handle themselves. As an example, I'm going to go over to a website called theringer.com. Now, this is a sports and pop culture website. I like it. It basically operates exactly like a news website, like Fox News or CNN or whatever your flavor of politics is. Now, let's say that you've navigated onto one of the Ringer's freshly published articles like this one. Here it's called An Evil Empire in Decay, about the Yankees' summer slump. I'm very happy about, by the way. As you scroll through, look over there on the right. See that? Most read. See that? Right now it's showing entries like 6 Dream Micah Parsons trade. Not super happy about that one. Cowboys fan. Yeah, I used to kind of get tired of it. I'm over it, okay? Here's another one. The winners and losers of the 2025 MLB trade deadline. 8 takes on the NBA offseason's most interesting moves, all tied to July 2025 pieces. That's the Ringer serving up popular articles where your eyes might drift, keeping you engaged and tempting you to dive deeper with the express goal of increasing your time on their site. Remember, the higher the dwell time, the higher Google will rank you. Scroll further down to the bottom now, and under a section like More on MLB or More on NBA, you get another like-minded section of articles and podcasts. 3, 4, 5 headlines, each a fresh excuse to leap sideways into a new topic without ever leaving the page. Now, let's click on one of those most read articles. Say, let's look at the 6 Dream Micah Parsons trade scenarios. You're deep in that story, and before you know it, they've tacked on related reads, such as the Commanders can't afford to trade Terry McLaurin, or NFL training camp panic meter. This insertion is seamless. It's literally inside the flow of the article. That's the strategy. Embed the internal headlines, hold their gaze, and pivot them to another story to keep the cycle going. And yes, that's what the big boys do. The news sites, ESPN, CNN, The Ringer, they all do it, and you should too. Hey, if you're finding value in this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We're putting out valuable content like this every single week to help you grow your remodeling and contractor business. And I don't want you to miss any of it. Trust me, there's a lot more where this came from. All right, let's move over to number 4 on our list, which is internal links. Now, internal links are hyperlinks within your blog post content that connect to other pages or posts on your website. This is absolutely crucial for creating that diggable experience that we've been talking about. Here's why internal links are so powerful. They create pathways for your visitors to explore more of your content on your website without having to think about where to go, okay? You're making it easy for them to discover more about what makes you different and why they should choose you. Think about it this way. When someone's reading one of your blog posts about, let's say, your approach to customer service, and they see a highlighted link to another post about quality standard, they're naturally curious to click and learn more. That's exactly what we want. We want to create these natural bridges between your content pieces. The goal is to strategically place about 5 internal links on every single blog post that you create. These links should connect to your core pages, like your Why Us pages that we talked about earlier, or to other relevant blog posts or content on your website that support and expand what you're discussing. What makes internal links so effective is that they serve multiple purposes at once. First, they keep people on your website longer, which increases dwell time. Are you catching the thread here? And sends positive signals to Google. Second, they help distribute the authority and ranking power across your entire website, not just your homepage. And third, they create a web of interconnected content that makes your entire site more valuable and comprehensive. The key is to make these links feel natural and valuable, not forced. When you're writing about your workmanship standards, it makes perfect sense to link to a post about, let's say, quality control process, for example. When you're discussing your customer consultation approach, linking to your proven process page, it's a no-brainer. We did a great job of this internal linking on the website for Jericho Home Improvements, jerichohome.com. If you want to go look it up, you can see how the internal links are done right. You just go to jerichohome.com, okay? And don't blame me if you find yourself sucked into their website. That's the beauty of internal links. Remember, we're not just throwing random links in there. Every internal link should add value to the reader's experience and help them understand more about your identity, your process, why you're the right choice for their project. So that's number 4, internal links. Use them strategically, use them generously, and watch as they transform your website from a collection of isolated pages into a cohesive, diggable experience that keeps people engaged and learning more about what makes you so special. All right, we've made it to number 5, and here it is. Use videos. Now, there's a lot of kinds of videos. All of them are amazing. Well, maybe not all of them, but most of them. But in particular, I'm referring to what I call talking head videos. Either the owner of the company or a spokesperson for the company sitting in front of the camera, just giving it straight to the customer why you're the absolute best buying decision possible. You don't have to look far for these scripts. Now, do you? Just adapt the sections from the blog post that we're talking about. They can be anywhere from 30 to 120 seconds long. Maybe splice in a little bit of B-roll to make them visually more interesting. Show some of your products or something that's relevant to what the guy is saying when he's talking on the video. The beauty of repurposing your blog content into video scripts is that you're not starting from scratch. You've already done the hard work, the heavy lifting of crafting the message, identifying the key points, structuring the information. It's already been done. Now you're just adapting it to a different format for a different medium. Take that 800-word blog post and distill it down to the core message that can be delivered in, say, 60 seconds or maybe 90 seconds. Hit the main point, provide 1 or 2 supporting details, then put in some sort of a clear call to action. Now, here's where this gets really powerful from a dwell time perspective. See, when somebody lands on your page and they see a video, they're immediately more engaged than if they just see, a wall of text. The human brain is wired to pay attention to something that has moving images. It's just how we're built. So right off the bat, you're capturing their attention in a way that a static content glob simply can't match. But here's the kicker. Videos don't just increase the initial engagement, they dramatically extend how long people stay on your page, right? Are you catching on here? Think about it. If somebody's reading your blog post, they might skim through it for, 30 seconds and then bounce to a different page. If you got internal links, hopefully they'll bounce to a page on your site. But if they're on that page watching a 90-second video, that's actually delivering value. Okay, that's the key. Not just any video, but it's got to deliver value. You know what? You just tripled their time on the page, and Google is paying attention to that. They're tracking how long people stay, and the longer the dwell time, that means a clear signal that your content is actually valuable and relevant. How else is Google going to know if people actually like your content other than measuring how long they engage with your content? But don't just stop at 1 video per page. This is where the real magic happens with with what I call video sequences. You want to create a series of related videos that naturally flow from one to the next. Maybe your first video introduces the problem, the second one dives into the solution, and then the third one shows results. Each video should be valuable on its own, but all together they tell a complete story that keeps people engaged for several minutes instead of just one video. And a quick note for you, when you create a video and you put it on your website, make sure that it's set to autoplay, okay? So at the end of the video, boom, guess what? Another video starts playing, and then you can just keep hitting them over and over again with more and more content. This is absolutely critical for maximizing dwell time. Are you connecting the dots here? It's not that complicated. This is what I call a video rabbit hole. Once someone starts watching, they get pulled deeper and deeper into your content and ecosystem. Nothing builds trust like these talking head videos. When people see that a real person, the owner, founder, a key team member, and by the way, you can actually hire actors to do this. They don't actually have to be on your team. People aren't going to know, okay? If these people are speaking directly to your client, the website viewer, it creates a connection that written content simply can't match. It humanizes your brand, makes you feel more approachable, more authentic. In a world where everything feels automated and impersonal, that human connection is incredibly valuable, okay? Video content isn't just nice to have anymore. It's essential for keeping people engaged on your site long enough to actually consume your message and take action. So that wraps up the 5 ways to make your content more diggable. Number 1 was create a YS section, okay, with links. Remember the 5x5 matrix. Number 2, utilize a blog widget to get eyeballs on proof of why you're the best. Number 3, embed headlines in your blog posts. Remember, like the Ringer, keeping people diving deeper and deeper. And number 4 was using internal links. And then of course 5, we just talked about it, use videos to triple your dwell time. Okay, that's all I have for you for today. As always, we can also help you generate 200 to 500 leads a month. That's 200 to 500 quotable leads, people who want what you're selling. Hit the link below. Let's talk.